360, and it's early here. I'm trying to get ready for work. My hair's way crazy today, so I've been away on business for a few days. I haven't had a chance to make any videos, but I wanted to talk in this particular episode about the concept of there being a battle between good and evil. And I know that this, like the very premise of this, is not necessarily going to make immediate sense to the conscious mind, okay? But I'm gonna try to break it down as best I can. So, what is distorted in human consciousness? The very fundamental distortion that exists is that we have created a battle at all, okay? Every other species on the planet understands and acclimates into the rhythm of nature, and it doesn't create this ongoing vortex of absolute insanity. It doesn't create this necessity of good and evil and the fight and the continual breakdown of unity. And so humans do this from two perspectives. There's definitely the masculine perspective of, the battle, and then there is the feminine perspective of the battle. And both polarities have their particular distortions. And I don't know if I'm going to get into that in this video because I have some notes and I want to go through just the basic teaching of how to untrain yourself towards these thought patterns. Because if you can perceive correctly, if you can undo the mechanism of distortion and of the need for a battle itself, you will create the opposite of insanity. You will have deep mental peace, because again, you will never need to fear anything. It's the dissolution of fear itself, because fear is the mechanism that makes us want to attack others, to attack situations, to attack groups, to attack other people, okay? And so the distortion, we can call it evil, we can call it darkness. I like to just term it, distortion or incorrect, insane thinking, okay? And the very premise of this distorted thinking is the belief in the fact that there is something to fight, that you are continually fighting against something, okay? And if you've watched any of my other videos, you will recognize and you will understand that what is going on in your consciousness is out manifesting. So if you believe in this fight, this battle, that others are attacking you, that there's constantly this force outside of you that is here to do you harm, then by the very mechanism of what creation is and what the quantum field is going to be mirroring back to you, you are going to see that come up in your world, okay? And so if that is the distortion, what is the correction to this distortion? Or what is the thought process of a healed and balanced mindset, okay? Because it's really important that we identify what is totally insane and not serving us, to bridge ourselves into this peaceful, divine type of thought process. Think of divine mind or oneness with our creator or the source, whatever you identify with. This divine mind sees only oneness. It sees no separation, and therefore it cannot even perceive attack. Okay, so this is the conscious level where the concept of a battle or a fight or duality doesn't exist. It's the singularity, but it's also, I don't want to necessarily call it a singularity, because again, that kind of teaching also can cause the linear consciousness to think that the experience is very flat or staccato, and that's not at all what unity is about. Unity is about intense, expansive, unconditional love, and therefore when we move into this frame of mind, creation and the mirroring of creation and what we see in the quantum field is just infinitely beautiful. And I mean, it's difficult to put into words because of course we are here on planet Earth and we see wars and we see destruction and we see hatred and we see people tearing each other down all of the time, every day. Okay, so it's very difficult for us in this current collective conscious reality for us to even conceive of another realm of existence or realm of creation where this type of dichotomy wouldn't exist. Okay, but again, we can associate this kind of thinking with the light, okay, with goodness, compassion, illumination, essentially, okay? Because when we are in and when we have bridged with this divine, conscious way of perceiving reality, we join into the oneness, into the spirit. So it can, when Christianity, for example, talks about Jesus's teachings, myself and the Father are one. It's that Christ consciousness is talking about moving from the mechanism of insanity, which is the ego, and which is to a great degree how human consciousness is presenting itself right now, okay, currently. When we move into this higher self perspective, okay, we are going to see no evil, okay? So we will see or perceive nothing of the concept of something of the way of distortion, okay? That split into duality, essentially, because when we see things from the perspective of needing something to fight, and I'm not, again, this concept, I want to make sure again that I'm teaching it correctly, but duality does have a purpose in a soul's journey, in the learning. But as we transition back, or as we become illuminated or resurrected in our consciousness, the ascension towards oneness, we have to let go of these very primal, dualistic mental properties that negate the lower centers of the mind, okay? That is that eat or be eaten, that need to fight, hate, to have jealousy, to create that distortion, okay? And again, so if we can look at some of the, some of the things that are being produced in terms of material that I've seen on Instagram and YouTube, a lot of that material, a battle between good and evil, or this need to fight and to destroy, and that, God is a destructive force, or that there's some sort of impending doom or impending battle. The battle is within the self. The battle, so in a sense, yes, there is something that we have to lay down and put to rest, and that is the conscious distortion that we have to fight all of these external evils. And again, love being a force of creation never seeks to destroy, never seeks to harm or hurt, or life as creation. If we think of life and creation as one joint concept, then the divine mind or love could never seek to destroy that which it created. Okay. And again, this is the distortion of human consciousness. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a sore throat here. And so when we talk about the light, okay, and the illumination, and when we sort of see it from that dualistic perspective, yes, that which is of the light or seeks to illuminate is also always going to reside in an energy of non-judgment, of compassion, of unwavering, unconditional love. And that is, in a sense, it's fight, but that's the wrong word, okay? The way that the divine mind tries to unravel the insanity is through, or its tools of war, so to speak. But again, it's not that kind of a battle. So I'm just using human terminology. Basically, again, that which is spirit utilizes the diligence of action, compassion, unwavering understanding of all levels of consciousness. And that is the ultimate love of God, essentially. Even if you look at teachings of people being, doing terrible, terrible things, and then they are on their deathbed and they finally accept this truth of unity and oneness and God, that forgiveness is always open to them. That mercy is always open to them. And that is the fundamental teaching. And therefore, again, that is the bedrock of what the light and the love bring to the dissolution of distortion on this planet. And hopefully, again, that makes sense, because once you realize that your peace resides in the laying down of the need to see attack or utilize attack in any of your mental formations or projections, this is where you bridge your thinking with that of the divine. And that's going to take meditation, prayer, a lot of self-control, a lot of self-reflection. But hopefully this explains a little bit. You can essentially aid yourself in the ascension process and become unified with that that Christ consciousness, essentially. So, and I don't want to get into whether or not Jesus Christ is coming back or isn't, or, you know, there's a lot of really interesting perspectives that are on Instagram, YouTube, all of these different platforms, and they're interesting perspectives. They're one point of consciousness expressing an idea. And so I'm not going to say that any particular idea or ideology is wrong or right, because that's not my role or my position to do so. I am still only a singular point of consciousness, and I can only teach from the perspective where I reside currently, and I am certainly not all-knowing, okay? Nobody that I'm aware of, and again, nobody that I'm aware of on planet Earth is completely all-knowing, okay? And so suggesting that we are in the end times, or, you know, getting really wrapped up in things like the book of Revelations, it's an interesting read. A lot of it is very, very metaphorical. And because a lot of what was written in the Bible was also deeply encoded, I think we have to be very, very careful about how we discuss some of these concepts, because again, there are individuals that are very fragile in terms of their consciousness, and they can gravitate to attack very easily if teachings are presented to them in a way that are very fearful and a way that incite attack. When we think of holy war, no war can be holy. No destruction of life would be in alignment with divine accordance. So again, we have to get to a place where we also understand logical unconditional love. And logical unconditional love doesn't seek to be right. It doesn't seek to be the most intelligent or the most knowledgeable. It seeks to be the most protective of all beings and all life at any given moment. And what that means is that its very mechanism is an outpouring of compassion and love and mercy. And that also means non-judgment, and that also means no attack, the dissolution of the concept of attack. And this seems to be a really, really, really difficult concept for human beings to grasp, that they don't need to fight each other, and that all life is sacred. And truly, that is the fundamental principle that guides creation, that all creation is sacred, that all life is sacred. And there are, you know, some very structured underlying laws that do direct this type of divine love, and I'm not going to get into them in this video, but I just wanted to, you know, put this out there for people to think about when they think about how they are seeing others and what they are projecting onto what they see as out manifest, and really drill back to the concept that this is an internal journey, and that the most important thing that you can do to help the world is to heal yourself. And when you heal yourself, you have correct vision, you have correct sight to see the world with mercy and compassion. Okay. Well, a very wonderful weekend. I hope and pray that there is, you know, less chaos in the world. This, you know, as we move forward, again, that's not really in my control, but I can at least do my due diligence and teach some of these very peaceful spiritual concepts as I know them to be. Okay, thanks so much.